I'm from Chicago and shit. I'm from Rockwell Gardens projects in Chicago, Illinois. But you know, shit, being from the West Side, I always like went everywhere. Like I was in all the projects, Penny Greens, fucking the Claire Courts, the Hornets. I used to be over a couple of places. So I'm originally from Rockwell Gardens in Chicago, Illinois, but I used to be in a lot of projects. Cause I mean, once you grow up in that environment, you pretty much like, you adopt to that shit. Like you feel more comfortable, like it's your element when you're around things that you used to, you know. So yeah, I'm from Chicago though.
Still living in Chicago?
No, I don't live in Chicago no more. I live in Las Vegas, so I live in Summerlin. I think I left Chicago when I was like 17, but shit, I always visit. Like I always come back and forth. I got family. I got a lot of my people and shit I rock with out there. So I always been back and forth though.
What was the reason for the move?
Shit, music. Shit, I was
in Las Vegas?
No. Let me take that back. It started as for music, cause I didn't just end up in Las Vegas, cause I lived a lot of places. I was homeless and shit. I was homeless when I was 17, and shit, I couldn't find no moves or whatever, like nothing major to do. So I'm like, damn, I gotta make something happen. And I got contacted by somebody in Mississippi who was saying they was distributed with E1, which is DJ Khaled, one of DJ Khaled people, one of their artists or whatever. And they told me like, come down here to Mississippi and shit. And you know, I'm like, Mississippi, I don't see shit about Mississippi popping. I don't see nobody out there that was really, you know, rocking hard. So I'm like, damn, Mississippi. But I'm like, shit, looking at my alternatives, I ain't got shit major to fall back on. So I'm like, shit, I mean, we'll go ahead and take that, you dig, a little trip, see what the fuck happened. Can't lose when you're already losing. So I went down there. I met a couple of people, and you know, the people that I originally came down there for, they was doing little shit, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to sign me and all that shit. I wasn't trying to sign because I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know what y'all can do for me to sign. Not trying to bash them, you know, but I'm like, shit, I'm just, you know, so I'm just hearing about y'all. So like, if I'm just hearing about y'all can't be too major, you know what I mean? But they was making moves or whatever, and it was a great opportunity and shit. So it went from there to me networking and traveling and living up in New Jersey and shit for a while. Then me traveling and different places and shit. I ended up in Las Vegas when it was all said and done. And I was talking to a lot of people that was networking in Las Vegas that had a lot of clubs out there. So that's what made me really, you know, want to rock out there. But shit, after that, I like how it was, and I just stayed there. Plus, I like the weather. Shit, Chicago too motherfucking cold. Motherfuckers be out there, need furs and shit.
What was it like for you growing up in Chicago? Can you paint the picture for us?
Oh, shit. Shit. Chicago, that's a whole new lane. Shit was ratchet. Like, let me see, to the most I can mainly say is like, shit, out there ain't no lacking. It's pretty much like, you got everybody and their mama on the come up. Shit, and when I say everybody and their mama, I mean their mama and shit. You got old ladies and shit that'll set your ass up, you know what I'm saying, just for some bread. And then you got little kids out there, you know what I'm saying, 13, I ain't even say 13, fucking 11, 12 with guns and shit, and they don't even know what the fuck their life is about, you know what I'm saying, to lose it all in like one shot and shit. You got everybody and their mama selling drugs. I mean, trying shit. I ain't gonna say selling, trying to sell drugs. You got 16 niggas on there trying to make something out of shit, arguing and trying to kill each other over anything just to push a little fucking nickel bag and shit. So you got goofy shit like that happening. Then you got a lot of, let's say, a lot of motherfuckers that like watch those who is on the come up. So let's say you got a man that work his ass off. He go to 9 to 5, he do whatever the fuck he gotta do. Best believe you gonna find somebody basically trying to pop his ass just so they can get what he got. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how everybody rock. I ain't gonna say everybody, I'll take that back. That's how a lot of people was rocking. You know what I'm saying? When I was out there, like, everybody was on a shit. We gonna catch a motherfucker lacking, we gonna hit a lick, somebody gonna grab a stain and make something happen, because the environment out there, like, they give you piece of shit jobs, and they pretty much tell you like make this shit work. They make the price of living out there for a lot of things high as hell, and then they give you like piece of shit jobs in the economy and make it like you got people out here trying to survive and, you know what I'm saying, live for their kids or they self, whatever, and motherfuckers like shit, I ain't gonna die, so I'd rather, you know, grab another motherfucker shit and hit a lick or a stain off a motherfucker just so I can maintain out here. So everybody trying to maintain, so it makes it complicated for them to do that with, you know what I'm saying, getting jobs that ain't doing shit, or they can't get jobs. A lot of motherfuckers might catch a felony or something, and they like, oh, you got a felony on your background, but it's like, shit, how you expect this motherfucker to live? What you think his next alternative is? He gonna pop a motherfucker. He gonna go get it, like however he know how, you know what I'm saying? So he can survive, him and his family or whoever he may be doing that shit for, but they survivors in Chicago, like, you know what I'm saying? If you raised in Chicago at any motherfucking point, you gonna be a survivor. Like, you gonna learn how to adopt quickly. I know I did. I adopted quickly. And you know what I'm saying? One thing about me is I ain't afraid to be in Chicago. I love being in Chicago. I love my city. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying, when you know better, you do better. So shit, you know, I grew away from being subjected to a lot of things that most people would be like, yeah, I gotta go back to the hood and show my niggas love. I don't do that shit to prove a point. If I go and show love to my niggas, they know I come there just because I'm rocking with y'all, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I ain't gonna put myself in no goofy ass predicament where a motherfucker gonna catch a lick and think I'm gonna be a stain, cause that shit ain't happening. So being in Chicago is like a fucking war zone. Like, you got basically survivors trying to maintain, and by any means necessary, however they know how. So even a person of good intentions might fuck around and do some fuck shit just because they basically trying to survive. And that's how it really is out there. Like, everybody's trying to survive and, I mean, shit, maintain somehow.
My question is, that picture you painted sounds terrible. I don't know who would want to live like that or in that environment. My first thinking in that description of your environment is, why not move away from that environment? Is there another cost of living that's significantly cheaper compared to Chicago's cost of living, since you said everything is high, where they could survive somewhere else and not be in that type of environment or put themselves in those type of, you know, situations of a stain and trying to catch the next lick and trying to use a gun and catch a felony? Why not go where that's my first thought. Please give me an answer to something like this, if you have an answer.
Yeah, I got an answer. I mean, shit, a lot of people ain't in a predicament to, like, up and just leave. Like, despite how simple it sounds to make that statement, people ain't, you know, they not put in position where they got, like, even $3,000. Like, they mama probably was, a lot of them off of public housing and shit, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They off public housing, so they barely maintain themselves. So where the hell they gonna get money to pack up and leave and go somewhere they probably don't even know too many people who really give a fuck about them, you know what I'm saying? Because their parents is here in Chicago. A lot of I ain't gonna say that. A lot of people, fathers ain't in their life, you know what I'm saying? So you got one single parent or either the mother missing, and it's pretty much one single parent mostly in a lot of homes. And ain't nobody got no money, no bread set up for them to be like, hey, you know, go down with your cousin, blah, blah, blah. It's cheaper, get you a job, live life. Shit, for something like that, you gotta prep. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta have some type of income. You can't just, you know what I'm saying, up and leave and expect shit to go well. You gotta have a job in place. In order to do that, you gotta have some type of link to be able to get back and forth to even do the interview. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have somewhere to stay, because where you gonna stay even if you do get a job? So it's like, you gotta prep for certain things like that, and it's complicated. You can't just up and leave. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure some people have, you know, got in a better situation and got themselves out. Those who could, most likely, but shit, it ain't that easy.
These licks you're talking about, people are hitting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of these licks that they hit, and instead of just blowing it on whatever they're gonna blow on or spending it on things that they may need to spend it on, maybe they move with that lick money.
Hey, you know, and that's very valid, but it's like this. Okay, they take that money, and then they're like, I'm for the dip. So they go somewhere, and that little ass money, because that lick might not be, when I say a lick, you can hit a lick for fucking like 200, 300. I mean, and then you can hit big licks and shit, like a couple of G's, you know what I'm saying? It might be like 2 or 3. And I mean, it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just a come up. And that money might serve them good a decent amount of time, but what if they don't get a job in that time? You know what I'm saying? What if they do get there and they, all right, let me get this apartment and this job shit don't fall through? Or they do get a job and they spent all their money and they got a job, then eventually that job fire them, because a lot of jobs is for the shit. Fire them off, who the fuck knows why. And now they out somewhere they know shit about, you know, and they can't rely on nobody in Chicago, so now what the fuck they finna do in a whole nother state that they know even less motherfuckers? So, shit, that's how I look at it.
I don't know much about how the public housing rules are, but could one transfer from one public housing area, let's say Chicago, to a public housing in Atlanta, for example? Is that possible or no?
It's possible, but I mean, it's not a guarantee. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if they put it in there, it could be like 2 to 3 years before they even say like, hey, we got somewhere to go. You know, you got, you know, bring your ass down here, you good. That shit take time. All that shit is timing, and you don't know what to expect, so you can't even base your life off no fucking possible. You know what I'm saying?
It just sounds, from what you described, like hell on earth. That's what it sounds like. And I don't know, but I would just want to try to get, again, it sounds simpler than, easier said than done.
Right.
But with that description you just painted, I would think anywhere else is better than there, of what you just described.
Yeah, I mean,
if at all possible.
In a certain way, you could say that, but I mean, you know, it's violence and shit everywhere. So, I mean,
but you don't hear about the violence or the ages of the violence happening in other cities like you do in Chicago. You don't hear about, you know, so many innocent bystanders getting killed. You don't hear about, you know, little kids and babies getting shot. Not even killed, but just shot and catching a bullet. You just don't. Now, once in a while, you'll hear a story about something like that in Atlanta. So-and-so infant got shot in a shootout. Once in a while. But it just seems like the news stories of this in Chicago, in the media, it happens frequently. I'm not saying every day, but I'm saying frequently. And maybe some of this stuff happens a little bit more frequent in other cities, but you just don't hear about it. So either they're not reporting it, that it's happening in other cities, or it's really just happening in Chicago by chance.
Shit.
There's gangs also in every major city.
Right.
But you just don't hear about the gang violence as bad as you do in Chicago. I mean, I'm sure there's gang violence in LA, New York, Atlanta, Miami, Houston, but you just don't hear it to the magnitude of what's going on in Chicago. You don't hear Donald Trump saying, we need to send the feds to Atlanta to kind of control the stuff that's going on in Atlanta. You only hear him make it about Chicago. And that's just one example. I'm not saying he's,
I get you.
I'm not saying he's making an example of Chicago, but if even Trump made a remark about Chicago, that should kind of be like, wow, what's going on in this city compared to all the other cities?
Right, yeah.
On the outside looking in, I don't live in Chicago. I'm just, giving an observation here.
You know, I mean, what you're saying is valid, though. Like, it's true. Like, that shit a jungle, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't for everybody, but, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, like I said, a lot of people have tried to get the fuck out of there, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have successfully got the fuck out of there. And, I mean, when it all barrels down to it, like I said, you gotta prep for stuff like that. You can't just expect to, you know, go somewhere and be, you know, good. Like, even if a motherfucker did get out of Chicago where it's like violence and all that shit, you might hit up Atlanta and you might fuck around and end up in the wrong spot. Cause like I said, I mean, you ain't coming there with a lot of money. You might end up in another ghetto ass part, and it might not be as bad, but you still in a fucked up situation. So you still like, shit, I came all the way the fuck out here to do better, but yet, you know what I'm saying? It's basically the same outcome. So, I mean, it's pros and cons to shit, and once again, it's all about prepping. You gotta set your mindset to, you know, how the fuck I'm gonna go from A to Z. Like, that's how I gotta be. You can't just expect to do it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people attempted it and probably failed. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, with the description you just laid out, and of course when people think of Chicago, they think of the gang violence there, they think of the street lifestyle there, the street sort of stuff that happens. Were you able to avoid that, or did you get sucked and consumed into that lifestyle as well?
Shit, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, of course I try to avoid the goofy shit, but yeah, I got sucked into a environment and put into a lot of situations, you know what I'm saying, that led me to being in the same boat as a lot of shit that goes on. Because, I mean, you got, okay, let's say, because one of the buildings I was in was like 450, and it's like, if you in this fucking building, then you going against motherfuckers from 15, which is another building that's like really a couple damn blocks, ain't far from your ass. So it's like they basically, I'm beating everybody's ass from 450. Shit, you ain't finna let them motherfuckers come beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to beat the shit out of whoever the fuck you gotta get first before they come to your ass. And you know, I want never a motherfucker to try to start shit. I believe that's some clown shit. But I'm not gonna never let no motherfucker whoop my ass and just come up on me because I'm from a fucking building. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was in a lot of violent shit, and that was like youngin', and you know, I did a lot of shit. Like we had guns and all that goofy shit. And you know, at that time, like I said, I ain't had no father or no shit like that. You know, I felt like that was life. That's how you survive, and that's how a lot of people in Chicago come up and shit. Like their environment that they come from is something that stick to them, especially if you ain't got nobody like raising them to the point where they like, look, this shit is goofy, move over on this area. So when you get in certain predicaments like that, like I could have probably told my mom and shit like, hey, look, I need to transfer out this shit. These people trying to whip people ass, and I'm here, and either you want me to start getting suspended for beating the shit out of somebody, or you know what I'm saying, you got to get me the fuck out of here. And I was more like, I feel like that was a bitch move, you know, at that time, which in reality, it would have been a smart move. But at that time, but how I was growing up, it's like, that's bitch shit. Like, motherfucker come at your ass, you gotta fuck them up. And that's how everybody was rotating. And when niggas had guns and shit, when we even left, you know what I'm saying, guns and shit, I called a case, you know what I'm saying, for putting a gun to somebody's head. And all that shit could have been avoided by, you know, being properly raised with maybe like a positive role model, you know what I'm saying, a male role model, like a father. If you ain't got a father, a good ass, a uncle that makes sense, you know what I'm saying, that teach you decent values. Or, you know what I'm saying, just a positive, because your mother can't do every damn thing, you know, she a female. So I took that, you know, I took a lot of things in the wrong route based off being in these environments and you get in situations that you really can't avoid, you know what I mean? Like if I'm with like 20 of my niggas and you see a goofy ass nigga over there who probably got into it with one of my people, like, I'm not finna be like, hey, that's y'all shit. Hell no, you gotta ride with your people, you know what I'm saying? That's called loyalty. And situations like that you can't avoid. So yeah, you get consumed into a lifestyle that you know, shouldn't be, but that's how a lot of things happen, you know what I'm saying? Even like I told you, like motherfuckers in Chicago survivors, like they was breaking in cars, so shit. You know, I'm like, damn, they coming up, they getting money and shit. I'm sitting here broke as fuck. Like, I had jeans and shit that we had to cut our jeans and call them bitches shorts for the summer. Like, the fuck? So, with that being said, shit, I started breaking into fucking cars too and shit. Like, all that type of goofy shit. But, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I felt was the way to survive at that time. And that's how a lot of people, you know, probably feel obligated to do certain things because they like, shit, I'm either survive or die. And that's how a lot of people in Chicago move.
How old were you when you caught that gun case?
17.
You were treated as a juvenile or as an adult? Charged, I should say.
They charged me as an adult, but I appealed, and because I believe the laws changed a little after my shit, I appealed it, you know, or whatever when I got older and got it dropped to juvenile.
Mm.
Yeah.
Were you able to beat that charge after the appeal, or?
Hell no. Shit. One of the niggas, cause I went by myself, but I wasn't able to beat it. But they gave me probation, cause that was my first case and shit. Like I never had no other case or whatever. So they was like, first they was talking about 6 to 30 and shit. I'm like, damn, 6 to 30 for this little shit. You know, I'm not even consuming the intensity of the situation. Cause you know, I ain't never been caught doing shit. I done did a lot of shit, and I'm like, damn, 6 to 30 for this little shit. But no, they was, you know, I had a lawyer, I had a paid lawyer, and he pretty much got me probation and shit. I was on probation for 3 years. I think as soon as I got the fuck out of there, I was for the beat the shit out of a security guard at my high school. And the police was right there, and they came to me and shit. They was like, look, nigga, you want to take your ass back to jail, you know what I'm saying, and do your time, because that's what the fuck they gonna do. Like if you wanna do this shit, or you can start thinking smart you know what I'm saying, and saying, ignore the shit out of these people who irritating the fuck out you and move around. And at that time I was a hothead, so I didn't really give a fuck what they were saying. But I still took that shit with a grain of salt, and I tried to avoid bullshit. But like I said, you get consumed in that shit. But shit, I successfully made it out the motherfucking 3 years. I should have drunk some champagne or some shit for that. Hell yeah, I ain't validate that shit either at all. So.
If you were an adult, what would that outcome have been? Do you think you would have gotten off with probation with that first charge? Or, I mean, we're speaking hypothetically here at this point, but would the outcome have been worse? Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think it would have probably been worse because shit, they would have looked at it like, nigga, you a grown ass man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what the fuck you doing when you did this shit. Like, you know, as a kid, they probably look at it like with sympathy, like, give this man a second chance, you know what I'm saying? He's still living life, he learning. As an adult, they might look at it like, you know what the fuck you was doing, you know the consequences to your actions, so be it.
Growing up for you with that rough environment, was that the roughest moment of your upbringing, or was there a rougher moment than that?
Hell no, it was a lot of worse times than that. Like shit, I was homeless. You know, I was homeless and I had motherfuckers trying to kill me and shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers shooting at me because you know, I'm rocking with certain people. So you imagine like you homeless and shit. Motherfucker could have caught my ass sitting at a motherfucking bus stop, you know, or in a playground sleeping or some shit. Like, you know, it was a lot of shit. Wow. I would say was way worse than that. That was shit. That wasn't nothing to me. That was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, a breeze. It was more like all the shootouts of motherfuckers, you know, at our heads and like being homeless, that overcoming that shit, like not having nobody you can really, you know, not having nobody really you can come to and be like, damn, you know, I need a place to stay, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, I did have like some real people that reached out to me and, you know, helped me along the way to a certain degree, but being homeless and not having shit and nobody, that's probably was, I say, one of the worstest. And, you know, a couple times when motherfuckers was like getting close to catching bullets to the head. Other than that, I say if it weren't them two major situation, everything else, you know what I'm saying, I overcame that shit pretty easy. Like the homeless shit, I was like, I ain't never going broke again. Fucking all that shooting and shit, like I don't put myself in predicaments where a motherfucker can catch me in any type of way like that. So if you catch me, you know what I'm saying, shit, I salute the fuck out you. So.
Being homeless, what was your worst level of homelessness? There's different levels to being homeless.
Right. Shit,
I guess the worst, I mean, the best way of being homeless, the best level is probably couch to couch, house to house. Maybe a little lesser than that would be, or a little worse, I should say, is different hotels, motels. Maybe a little worse is shelters, having to live there.
Right.
Maybe a little worse is living out of a car. Maybe really worse than that is being out on the street.
Right.
And
well,
sleeping on a park bench or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, see, shit like that. Sleeping on a park bench, I did shit like that.
It got that bad?
It started that bad, and that's what I mean. Like, shit just got a little up for me, like, at time, step by step. Like, it started me sleeping on a bench, you know, going in, like, parks and shit, like, looking over my shoulder to make sure a motherfucker don't see me. And I'll sleep there and you know, wake up early as fuck and try to dip. And then eventually, after, like, you know, a couple of months, you know, I had people reach out to me. I had like, actually I ain't gonna say, I had two people that reached out to me, and I was sleeping on one person couch, you know, from time to time, and then I eventually started sleeping over one relative house that really looked out for me and shit. And from that point on, like I said, I took that opportunity in Mississippi to fuck with them people on the music shit, cause I'm looking like shit. What better alternative do I got than this? And I can actually make something. Cause like I said, I had just caught that charge and shit was kind of fresh. So like that's a pistol case and all that shit. And they put it as more than that, but that shit ain't making no good to like get a job. Cause you know I was applying my ass off to get fucking jobs. Like I was in that bitch. I don't know how niggas, you know, if you ain't got a motherfucking felony or a misdemeanor, not fucking misdemeanor, you ain't got a felony and your ass sitting on the fucking block, nigga, you got some fucking issues. Motherfuckers need a fucking check, like, cause that's some mental shit. Like, only reason why I couldn't get a fucking job and shit is cause I had that shit on my background. So you know, everywhere I was applying for, I actually got hired, and then they'll see my background, they fired my ass. So I'm like, shit.
But on the application, isn't it say convicted of, or
Yeah.
does it say charged with? Because you were only charged with, you weren't convicted.
On the application, that motherfucker say, do you have a felony? Or do you have a misdemeanor? That's what I was seeing.
Does that mean charged with a felony or misdemeanor?
Period, in general.
Or does that mean convicted of a misdemeanor?
That means charge. Basically, like, shit, do you have this on your record? You know what I mean?
Because you're innocent until proven guilty. So just because you're charged doesn't mean you're guilty of it.
Shit, I wish they would have seen it like that. Hell nah. That ain't how their ass looked at it on my end. Them motherfuckers told my ass, yeah, hi, you come in for the interview on Monday. I'm like, all right, bet, shit, I'm there. I get another motherfucking call. Yeah, your background came back. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, all right, nigga, what up? We can't hire you. We can't hire you with violence, crimes, and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? So that shit happened to me a couple times and shit. But I used to lie on my motherfucking application most of the time. I'm like, hell no, I ain't got no felony. No
And then they found it?
All the time.
Oh.
Hell yeah, all the time. Hell no, because I'm looking at it like, shit, you motherfuckers ain't gonna hire me anyway if y'all know I got some shit on my background. So like, why I'd rather take a chance where a motherfucker might not do a background and let me slip through versus me just telling you motherfucker you throw my shit in there with a layaway. Hell no.
So even though you were charged and not convicted,
yeah,
you still had a hard time getting a job.
I had a hard ass time, man. I'm talking about, I don't know what motherfuckers do when they regular, but I was in that bitch all types of places. Shit, I don't know shit about Starbucks at that time. I was in that bitch like, yeah, let me, I'm trying to do this with you. Know anything about coffee? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, anything I don't, I'll learn, man. You know, I was instant. I went to a fucking boat place. I never been on a boat in my motherfucking life. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I know how to work this boat. I'm like, man, anything I don't know, I will fucking learn. And I got hired for a lot of jobs. Like, they did hire me. I can honestly say that. And they fired my ass most of the times before I can start. So it was never really me applying myself to get the shit. It was more of, you know, having that shit on my background. And that's another thing that in Chicago that why people need a positive role model in their life, because a lot of motherfuckers catch like these cases and shit, and they hear all this fucking music and they think it's like cool as fuck to catch cases and fuck up their life, so they salute that shit, and then realize that your music shit ain't taking off and your ass ain't got a job. You know what I mean? So at that time, I ain't have nobody in my life. You know, I was doing a lot of shit, and had I had anybody who would have told me like, nigga, if you catch this shit, you gonna fuck up, I would have went a whole nother route, because I'm like, shit, man, fuck this. I'll catch this job, work this shit, and, you know what I'm saying, move around best I know how, or whatever, but, yeah.
How long were you homeless for? With the different levels of homeless?
Okay, so the worstest, I'll say about like 6 months. That was the worstest. And then I'll say probably like 2 years, so probably like 3 years altogether, I would say I was homeless, but I was getting my shit together slowly. And the reason why I say like different levels, because when I was sleeping out and all that shit, that's homeless. You know what I'm saying? That's fucked up. When I was out sleeping on park benches and shit. But as far as when it goes to like sleeping on my homies and couch shit, I feel like that was, you know, that's homeless, but you know what I'm saying, nigga, you got somewhere to lay your fucking head. And then I went up from that to like fucking with bitches and sleeping in their house, but that shit's still homeless, because at the end of the fucking day, it ain't your shit, and that bitch can kick you out. The bitch can kick you out whenever the fuck she ready. So, you know, I had to get my shit together, and it was just hard, you know what I'm saying, because you can't, it's hard to make revenue without revenue. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you can't get a fucking job. So as far as music goes for me, like I had to rely on people to do shit for me. Like I had to rely on the motherfucker let me in the studio and record. Like I couldn't afford that shit. Like I'm like, shit, I ain't for the bad. I'm about some fucking food. You know what I mean? And I'm about some fucking clothes, like some shit that's gonna matter. This music shit gonna be there. You know what I mean? Like that shit ain't paying me now. So I was like, fuck that. So it took me to a strong degree when I say homeless for 3 years, because like I wasn't on my shit. I wasn't able to rely on me to be, you know, in a great predicament to put myself in situations that I wanted to be in. So, yeah.
How did you initially get into being homeless?
Well, I was staying with my mother, and we had complications and shit. And I guess one day she was like, I'm tired of this nigga. So I was like, oh, you gotta, like, she like, get the fuck out, blah, 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 whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because me and my mom, we had a lot of complications. I love the shit out of my mama, you know what I'm saying? That shit don't change nothing, but, you know, we had complications, so I left her. I went with one friend at one particular time, you know, right out the gate, and I didn't really know where the fuck I was gonna go. So I went to her house. Her mom was like, you know, she like, he could stay here for a few days and shit. I'm like, damn, a few days. I'm thinking to myself like, all right, maybe I can go back to my mom and shit after this. This shit'll blow over. So initially I started hearing shit from like relatives that, you know, she was saying a lot of negative shit. So I'm like, all right, can't go that route. So once her mama told me like, oh, you gotta go, I was kind of like stuck. Like I started hitting people up, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I started getting all this, no. Even like motherfuckers that like I helped, like I let sleep in my mama's house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause they ain't have nowhere to go. Like these the same people like I seen, they just walk past my ass like I was a fucking ghost. I'm like, damn, bet. And I'm like, so I can't rely on these motherfucking people I thought I called friend and shit at that particular time. Like, them motherfuckers was nowhere to be found. Like, nobody gave a fuck, really. Like, I had relatives who actually had jobs. Like, none of these motherfuckers, like, it was just pretty much nobody really in my corner at that time. So, shit, with that being said, I was just like, I need to make a move. And I ain't really want to keep relying on people. So, like, I slept in the park. I had, like, a bag and shit. And I brought this bag everywhere, which was the worstest part, because like I had to start asking people, like, hey, can I at least keep my bag here? You know what I mean? Because I can't keep traveling everywhere with this shit. So I started trying to get jobs. I'm like, I'll be good. I'm gonna get a fucking job. Woo woo. Not knowing that this felony shit, this shit was gonna like really affect the fuck out of me from like trying to elevate. And I tried hard in the motherfucker to get a job. Like when I say I went to every fucking place, I went every fucking where, you know what I'm saying? And none of that shit worked. Like, I tried everything. And everywhere I went rejected my ass. That's when I started knowing shit was real. So I was like, all right, what's my next move and shit? And I couldn't really think of shit. I'm like, I don't really know. Maybe a shelter or some shit. So I went to a fucking shelter. They was acting fucking weird and making it seem like it was pretty much a first come, first basis type of shit. And I couldn't travel like that. So it ain't like I can get a bus card and go to every shelter. So it was kind of hard. I was like in a fucked up predicament because it was like it was no alternative. So I was thinking this shit. But I always pray. I always kept God with me. I always keep God with me. I always pray. And I always keep faith. So I knew shit was gonna turn over. I just didn't know when. So even though I was homeless and shit, I wasn't like one of them people like depressed as fuck and like wondering what the fuck my next move gonna be. I wanted to know my next move, but I figured that eventually I'm gonna get that shit settled out. And like I said, everything started happening step by step. You know what I mean? But it taught me a lot of shit. It taught me how to be very fucking independent. It taught me how to get money and never go broke. It taught me how to elevate in ways that if that situation didn't happen, I probably would not even be where the fuck I'm in today. So, I mean, that's pretty much.
You had to beg for food? I mean, not beg for food, beg for money at one point?
I won't say beg shit, I was asking, you know what I'm saying? I definitely asked like certain people for money and shit, but to be honest with you, I got turned down a lot. Like I got skinny as fuck. Like I lost hella weight. I look like a fucking crackhead. I lost so much fucking weight, that shit was ridiculous. So, you know, I'm be honest with you, shit, food wasn't even really like my objective at that time. I was kind of like, shit, I'm hungry, but hey, I need to figure out where the fuck I'm asleep, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, every day you don't want to be out here, you know what I'm saying? It start getting cold and shit, and you know, whatever, but yeah, I asked people for money and shit. And,
with a sign?
Hell no. Hell no, I had a motherfucking saying shit. I should have.
I think those people make a lot of money.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. The way they move now, I see that shit. I wish I would have had a fucking sign.
But you just think, if you were out there where cars are passing,
yeah,
and I've never been homeless, so I don't know for sure, but let's do some math here. If you're out on the road and you're asking people for money as they walk by or as they drive by, in Atlanta, if the hourly rate was $7 an hour at McDonald's, right? Let's say that's the minimum wage. I don't know what it is exactly, but let's say it's $7 an hour.
Right.
I think somebody with a sign would probably make more than $7 in 1 hour just with the sign asking for it. Now, they're really out there with that sign for an hour, but I think they would make more than $7 an hour doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
You'll catch a person with $1, you might catch a person with $5, you might catch up 20 here from a nice person.
Hell yeah, that's true.
I think some of those people
you
make a little bit more, if not, than maybe somebody at a...
Hell yeah, them niggas be banking. I be giving their ass money too. Them motherfuckers be banking. You know, at that time though, honestly, I don't even remember seeing so many people like how it is. Now that shit is a job. Motherfuckers dressing up, being homeless and shit. Hey, nigga, you got a dollar with them? That shit a job. These motherfuckers out here working. You know, back then, you know what I'm saying, when I was fucking 17, it wasn't that many people out there like that. You seen a crackhead now and then, but shit, that's about it. You ain't see too many people out there with these sounds. Now that they see that shit working, that shit is like a market. That's, like I said, that's a real motherfucking job. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers out there, they getting it. So, yeah, I mean, looking back on that shit, hell yeah, I would have grabbed the motherfucking sign and put that motherfucker up and be like, yeah, you got a dollar? Hell yeah. But, shit. At that time, none of that shit wasn't really popping like that. And like I said, you seen a crackhead now and then, but you ain't see motherfuckers with signs everywhere doing that. Maybe downtown, but shit, consider the fact I was a broke-ass motherfucker. That was a place I wasn't at.
So you were homeless during the winter?
It was like getting close towards the winter and shit. Like, I think I just literally, in November, I think I just fucking got a call from like my cousin, but I called her my auntie and shit. And she was like, you know, if you homeless, you know, and you having problems, you come here and shit. So I'm like, hell yeah. So right at that particular time.
You still had a working phone?
I had a person whose house I used to go over and tell people to call and ask if somebody called for me.
Oh.
You know, then I hit their ass back. Hell no, I ain't had no working phone shit. I couldn't even afford a fucking quarter juice.
You were sleeping on the park bench every night?
Yeah, for like 3 months. I mean, it wouldn't just be park benches though. Like sometimes I'd be on the slides and shit, playgrounds. It was like different little locations and shit, you know, like whatever.
How does one take a shower? How does one brush their teeth? How is one keeping up with their hygiene?
See, that type of shit, like I said, I used to have to ask people for shit. Like sometimes, like shit, you know, I ain't gonna say sometimes, a lot of times you'll have to, you know, ask somebody that might not even be somebody you know, as far as like in a certain place like hotels and shit. I used to ask like somebody, and they you know, they knew my situation pretty sure, and they helped me a lot with like taking showers, leaving back and forth. Sometimes I ask people that I knew, like, hey, can I take a shower at your crib real quick and shit? And you know, it'll work, and that shit'll work. And as far as like brushing your teeth and all that shit, I mean, when I got a little money here and there, I'll go get a fucking toothpaste and whatever, go to somebody's house and ask if I can brush my teeth, or if I can use the washroom, brush my fucking teeth. And sometimes I just ask to fucking use the washroom and I'll take a shower and they shit and come the fuck out. Cause I'm like, shit, hey, fuck it. I'd rather, you know what I'm saying, get this shit now and then ask them and they be like, I don't know, and give me all that shit. You know, you already in that bitch. It's like, it is what it is. Fuck that, you gotta survive.
How often were you able to take a shower?
I was able to take a shower pretty decently. I ain't gonna say every fucking day, which I regret. I hate the fuck out of that, because that shit sucked. But pretty decently, you know, to a certain degree. It was decent.
Somebody watching this,
yeah,
let's say they're about to be homeless, or let's start with that. Give me advice. Circumstances could be different for everybody. Give me advice on somebody about to go homeless. What would you tell that person?
I would tell them, shit, despite whatever fucking situation they in, make yourself independent. Like, no matter how you look at it, if you fucking, if you don't got no felonies or a misdemeanor, you're gonna get a job. Like, I don't give a fuck what you say. If you apply enough, somebody's gonna hire your ass. Take that route. Do not take the other route of, you know, that's gonna lead you into a worse predicament than you already in. Get your ass a motherfucking 9 to 5 and stroll with that shit until you can't roll no more, and eventually get on your motherfucking feet without needing anybody. Stay independent and keep fucking moving. The main thing about being in any bad situation, you gotta always have faith in God, and you gotta keep moving. Like, don't fucking stop. Always have your motherfucking head above water. Shit, otherwise you're gonna drown. So keep moving, first off, keep faith, keep moving, and keep striving. Like, being ambitious will get you a lot of fucking places. Like, a lot of artists who didn't have money just got ambition and dedication. It took their ass a long way. Myself, example. If you're about to be homeless and you feel like, you know, shit about to get real at this particular point, whatever route that you can to make a change as far as being independent, take that route. If you be a hustler, shit. If you can fucking paint your ass off and start selling your shit until you get a job. If you a motherfucking rapper, nigga, shit, entertain some motherfuckers until they start dropping some motherfucking dollars in your fucking bucket. I mean, do whatever the fuck you gotta do as a hustler to get out that predicament into a better one, and then take that shit as a stepping stones. Take it one day at a time. Don't try to fly. You know what I'm saying? You gotta crawl, walk, jog, then run, and then eventually it's possible to fly. So take that shit and just keep moving.
Now, what about advice? Again, everybody's situation can be different.
Right.
What about advice for somebody to get out of being homeless?
To get out of homeless,
Now they're already in it,
okay.
whatever capacity or level of homelessness, and they're trying to get out. What's the advice there?
I would say keep faith, swallow your fucking pride. Cause you know, a lot of shit fucked me up was my pride. Like, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, I could have asked certain people and they probably would have helped out of bitterness, but they would have did. I would say swallow your fucking pride, you know what I'm saying, and accept help and try to receive help wherever you can. Go to churches, go to shelters, you know what I'm saying, to stay from being in fucked up ass environments to the best of your abilities. Keep fucking moving. Like, keep making moves as far as your next day. Like, am I gonna fucking plan to get a job today, or am I gonna plan, like, where can I stay for the long term? Like, keep making different decisions that's gonna benefit your future, and aim as fucking hard as you can and keep striving, because a lot of people get down when they get into a predicament they feel they can't handle or they can't control. They start tending to fall into a depression, and that shit don't help nobody. Stressing and being depressed don't help. Of course, you're gonna have negative thoughts every now and then, but push that shit to the side, be positive, keep it moving. Because eventually, you know what I'm saying, if you heard millions of stories of other motherfuckers coming from this to that, same shit can happen to you. So you just gotta keep pushing.